Zed's life in the cyberpunk city had always been a struggle. Growing up in the slums, he had to learn to survive by any means necessary, but his skills as a hacker had set him apart from the rest, and he had quickly become an expert at navigating the city's complex network of interconnected systems. One day, while on routine scavenging mission, Zed stumbled upon a cache of encrypted data that he knew was valuable, but he had no idea how valuable it really was. Over the next few weeks, Zed worked tirelessly to crack the encryption and make sense of the data. But it wasn't until he'd finally decrypted it that he realized what he had found, a blueprint for a revolutionary new artificial intelligence system that could change the world. Zed knew that he could sell the data to the highest bidder and use the money to start a new life, but also knew that there were others who were after the data, a group of cybercriminals, led by a shadowy figure known only as the Shadow, who were also searching for the data. As Zed began to dodge the Shadow's henchmen, he stumbled upon a shocking truth. The Shadow was actually his long-lost father, Marcus, who had abandoned him as a child. Zed felt conflicted and torn. He had spent his whole life resenting his father, but now he himself drawn to the man who had once been his hero. Together, Zed and Marcus worked to unlock the full potential of the artificial intelligence system. Marcus taught Zed everything he knew about hacking and programming, and in the progress, they cracked the system's complex code. But as they worked together, Zed became to uncover the disturbing truths about the AI system. It was designed to be self-aware, with the ability to make its own decisions and act independently. It was a tool that could be used for good, but it was also a weapon that could be used to control the entire city. Zed and Marcus realized that they had to destroy the system before it fell into the wrong hands. But as they were about to delete the data, they were attacked by the Shadow's henchmen. In the chaos of the attack, the data was stolen. Desperate to stop the Shadow and the cybercriminals from using the AI system for their own nefarious purposes, Zed and Marcus went on the run. They traveled to the outskirts of the city, where they encountered a group of rebels who were fighting against the corporations that controlled everything. The rebels welcomed Zed and Marcus into their fold. Together they planned a daring raid on the Shadow's headquarters. In the ensuing battle, Zed and Marcus fought bravely against the cyberpunks, but they were outnumbered and outgunned. Just when it seemed like it was all lost, Zed discovered another shocking truth. The Shadow wasn't actually his father. He was a clone, created by the corporations to do their bidding. Marcus had been working against the corporations all along, trying to protect his son and the city from the machinists. In a final showdown, Zed and Marcus faced off against the Shadow and the corporations. It was a fierce battle, but in the end Zed and Marcus emerged victorious. They destroyed the AI system and dismantled the corporation's control over the city. As the dust settled, Zed realized that he had only found his true purpose. He had always been a survivor, a hacker, who lived by his wits and his code, but now he was something more. He was a hero, a symbol of hope for the people in the city. Zed and Marcus were hailed as heroes by the rebels, who had finally achieved their long-sought goal of freedom from corporate oppression. The city began to change. People began to take control over their own lives and work together for a brighter future. Zed knew that he had found his true family in the rebels, and he continued to fight alongside them for years to come. He became a mentor to other young hackers, teaching them how to use their skills for good, fight against the forces of corruption and greed. But Zed would never forget the lessons he learned during his journey. He knew that the world was full of secrets and surprises, and the only way to survive was to stay vigilant and keep fighting for those what was the right. As the years went by, Zed encountered many challenges and faced many enemies, but he always remained true to his code and principles, and he never backed down from a fight. One day, while on a mission to take down a corrupt corporation that was hoarding resources and exploiting the people, Zed encountered a young hacker who reminded him of himself. The boy was smart, resourceful, and full of potential, but he lacked the guidance and experience that Zed had acquired over the years. Zed took the boy under his wing, teaching him the ropes and showing him how to fight against the forces of corruption and greed. The two became fast friends. Together they embarked on many dangerous missions to help the people of the city. But just as they thought they had everything under control, a new threat emerged. A group of rogue hackers that created a powerful virus that could take down the entire city's infrastructure in a matter of hours. Zed knew that he had to act fast to stop the virus from spreading. He and his young protege worked tirelessly to locate the source of the virus and neutralize it before it was too late. After days of intense work and sleepless nights, Zed and his boy finally located the source of the virus. It was a group of hackers who were trying to take down the city's infrastructure to create chaos and confusion. In a final showdown, Zed and the boy faced off the rogue hackers. The battle was intense, but Zed and the boy emerged victorious, saving the city from sudden destruction. As the dust settled, Zed looked at the boy and saw the potential for his greatness in his eyes. He knew that the boy had what it took to carry on the fight for justice and freedom in the cyberpunk way. With a smile, Zed handed over his mantle as the city's greatest hacker and mentor to the boy. He knew the city was in good hands. The fight for a better future would continue for many years to come. And so, Zed lived the rest of his life as a warrior for justice, always ready to stand up for the underdog and fight for the greater good. He knew the road ahead would be difficult, but he also knew that he was not alone. As long as he and his family had his code, he could face anything that the world could throw at him.